I'm walking in a wilderness / desert. Got sand I'm walking by. It's a desert. I've got all kinds of crazy features around me. It's a wilderness. This is in the wild. You know, the wilderness / desert is a repeated theme inside of the Bible. It's a place where people are that they don't want to be. It's a place where people are when they're waiting for their next season. They're waiting for the next place to go. Right now in America, we're in a wilderness. We're in a desert. We're just waiting to wonder when we're going to get out of the pandemic, waiting to wonder when the economy is going to kick back up, waiting to wonder when we can go back to huge concert events outside in the life that we knew a year ago. And the thing that's frustrating about it is you don't like where you are and you don't know exactly when it's going to end. There's all kinds of different theories, but we just don't know. This is a time when we are in, as a people, a biblical desert, a biblical wilderness. Once you can put that in your mind, that this is not a normal life, that I'm not going to be making advances, very few of us are making advances, we're just literally holding on. Once you understand what you're in, you can endure it, you can understand it, and you can squeeze every ounce of life out of it that you can. There's two wildernesses that are really big in the Bible. One was when Jesus is tempted after he is baptized. He is led to the wilderness to be tempted. It lasts 40 days, but the Bible doesn't say specifically that Jesus knew that it was going to be 40 days when he got there. He just knew, I'm here for a season to be in difficult circumstances, going without food, going without water, to encounter God and do battle with the evil one. Many of us are doing battle with the evil one as he tries to ravage our lives, and we can encounter God in the midst of it. But Jesus wasn't sure. The text is not clear that he didn't know on the front end that this was 40 days. The other huge wilderness I'm going to read from today is the wilderness that happened for the people of Israel when they were escaping slavery and then they were on their way to the promised land. They had a goal, a destination that they were going to. But now they're in this wilderness period because they've been rebellious. God has told them, I'm going to take you to the promised land. And they sent spies over to look at it. And the spies came back and said, wow, this is really, really amazing. 10 of them said, this is amazing, but there's no way we can go there. The people are too big. The obstacles are too massive. Two guys, Caleb and Joshua, said, no, I think we can do it. And God became so incensed that he had promised his people that he was taking the promised land, but they didn't have the faith to believe and to move and to step out, that he said, that's it. I'm going to wait for all of you unfaithful people to just die. Let's actually take a look at what it says in the book of Numbers, chapter 14. Here's what it says. 14 verse 22. None of the men who have seen my glory and my signs that I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and yet have put me to the test these 10 times and have not obeyed my voice, none of them shall see the land that I swore to give their fathers, and none of those who despised me shall see it. But my servant Caleb, because he has a different spirit and has followed me fully, I will bring him into the land into which he went, and his descendants shall possess it. Now, since the Amalekites and the Canaanites dwell in the valleys, turn tomorrow and set out for the wilderness by the way to the Red Sea. Over and over and over and over and over and over again, the nation of Israel, when they came out of slavery, when God miraculously brought them to freedom, they regularly had lack of faith. They regularly doubted that God would take care of them with food and water. They regularly doubted that they shouldn't have come to where they're going. They've actually longing at points to be back in the land of slavery. They doubt when God says the promised land is going to be yours. They hear 10 people who bring a bad report and they actually believe them. And God says, okay, that's it. Now all of you have to wander around until I get rid of the faithless people. I wonder if right now, in our country, in our churches, in the community of faith, if God isn't testing and judging and refining those of us who are people of faith. I do believe there's a better day ahead for us. I do believe there's great opportunities that are off on the horizon. I do believe this is a season of preparation that gets us ready for something bigger and better in our walk with Christ. And I believe that right now it just sucks. And I believe right now we can't know when this is going to end. We're just enduring. We're just plodding. We're trying to keep our sanity. Let's keep going with what the text says. And the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, how long shall this wicked congregation grumble against me? I have heard the grumblings of the people of Israel, which they grumble against me. Say to them, as I live, declares the Lord, what you have said in my hearing I will do to you. Your dead bodies shall fall in this wilderness, and of all your number listed in the census from 20 years old and upward who have grumbled against me, not one shall come into the land where I swore that I would make you dwell, except Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, the son of Nuns. Grumbling. Grumbling. Why don't we all just say grumble 3 times right now? Grumble, 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 grumble. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Grumble, 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 grumble. God does not like grumbling. And I believe the people of God have probably never grumbled more than we're grumbling right now. Got to wear a mask in public. Grumble, 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 grumble. The governor's telling me that churches can't meet, but strip clubs can meet. Grumble, grumble. We're so wrought with fear that we're not taking advantage of the opportunity. Grumble, grumble. Oh, the pastor's closing down the church and just caving to governmental fear. Grumble, grumble, grumble. We're losing. Grumble, grumble. We're grumbling. We're grumbling. We're grumbling. And I'll put myself at the front of the list. I hate 2020. 2020 sucks. I don't like that 2021 might not be much different than 2020. I don't know. I'm seeing people fall off of the faith like never before. I'm seeing people abandon spiritual practices like going to church or streaming services or reading the Bible. I'm seeing it again and again and again. I believe right now there's a refining of God's people happening in the world. I believe right now God is waiting for people to drop out of the faith and for the grumblers to drop out because he has a new thing coming up ahead. This is the attitude I have right now. This is a refining period for me, for us. It's a period we don't want to be in, and we don't know exactly when it's going to end. God said 40 years, but I don't know if the nation of Israel had timekeeping devices where they were counting down the days. And he didn't say 40 years, here's the exact day. It was 40 years / when everybody over 20 who was rebellious and grumbling, when they all die. You figure the younger generation, those under 20, weren't responsible. They were just following the older folks. So they were okay to get in, but everybody else did. No one knew when that last person who was over 20 was going to die. I sometimes wonder if some of those guys who were under 20, who then eventually, were 60 or nearly 60, if they were throwing poisonous snakes in the sleeping bags of the people who were older, just waiting, like, you guys got to die. Yeah, we got to move on. They didn't know exactly when that's going to be. I don't know exactly when our life is going to be back to normal. I don't know exactly when we're going to get to a promised land. I don't know exactly when life is going to be fun and full again. I don't know, but here's what I do know. Right now, God is refining his people. Right now, God is judging his people. Right now, God is whittling down his church. He's carving down the people who gave lip service to Jesus. He's carving down the people who gave lip service to following God. In reality, they were following God so long as everything was easy, so long as everything was understandable. Hey, friends, hey, guess what? Following God is easy when it's easy. Following God is easy when you understand what the point is. But when you don't know when it is ending and you don't know where it's going to end up, that's where God finds out who's really his. That's when he finds out who's really trusting him. In a desert region, every day, you just walk around, you're looking down, you're making sure you're not turning your ankle, you're making sure you're not getting bit by something that could kill you. You're just that day trying to stay physically safe and spiritually sane. That's my admonition for you. Don't think about the future right now. Think about today. Think about how God is refining you and his people today. Every day, try to cling to him. Every day, try to not do something that's going to screw your life up. Every day, try to strengthen your relationship with God as you wait for the new day that is coming. It is coming. The promised land is coming for those who can endure and be faithful in the wilderness and the desert of our current times. That right there is transcendent truth that will help you understand the day we're in. That right there will get you to another place eventually. Let me pray for you right now. God, I pray for your grace and your spirit of endurance on all of us who are wandering about in the wilderness. We look for this to end, and until it ends, we want to squeeze every ounce of learning that we can. We want to learn to depend on you and to experience you in deeper degrees. I pray that we come to actually thank you for this season in our life. And I pray these things according to the name of Jesus. Amen.